Neil, thank you so much for joining us here at FundForum International.
Thanks for having me.
So what is your definition of disruption, and is an industry like this ripe for it?
It's an important question. I think it's on its journey to discovering the potential of disruption. I don't think it's anywhere near defined or clear, and usually it's not. So it's a journey you take in terms of investment of time to think about options, look at competition, and really think about the customer in the heart of what you do, so go back to core. So I think it's one of those industries that's not kind of centred to the debate of global disruption, but I think while you're relevant to technologies like blockchain potentially, you have to be aware, you have to think about disruption and really consider what your options are so that you're not left behind.
You mentioned blockchain there and technology. This industry has been notoriously slow to adopt new technology and embrace it. It's always been a bit fearful of it. Do you think that's changing and evolving?
I think it feels like people are at the edge of a cliff and they're all backing up, and at some point somebody's going to fall over. I don't see a clear thought leader who's invested the right scale of cash to get things done in a global way. And I think the ceiling for digital is, if you want to be global, then there's a justifiable business case to get there. Quite often in the fund market, it feels to me people have got very important and well-run segments that don't require much kind of change. And until people aspire bigger, I think you'll see lots of segmentation for a while yet. My horizon for the answer to the question would be between 3 and 5 years, you'll see very digital, very data-driven businesses offering great end-to-end solutions in the market. And I think that'll open up for buyers not just what they consider to be fund administration and fund support, but also commercial opportunity and commercial insight. So wealth and funds is all about placing money to get return on investment. Data gives you the market analysis that could decide future markets and new markets. So I think it'll be a journey. I don't think anybody's there yet. I'm hoping I can help the one that is there first do it, and we'll see.
So that's the industry, but how is this being driven by the customer? Because obviously we're in a generation where people are more demanding as customers, and these businesses have to be more focused on customer experience. Will that have an impact?
I think it will. In your daily life now, you'll be asked your opinion at least 5 times if you're anywhere near a mobile device or a tablet or a PC. And opinions matter to brands, and opinions matter to service providers. And what I see is a very reluctant buyer in our market to kind of change the status quo, because a hell of a lot hangs on his decision. And ironically, the corporate culture that usually determines risk doesn't apply to lots of these funds. It's kind of a self-implied wish from a manager, and he goes after his fund potential. I think they need to be aware of the opportunity on the upside. We need to drive their education towards that, and then I think there'll be a real take-up because it's practical and it grows my business. Until we hit those touch points, I don't blame the fund space for not taking up technology quicker or investigating it, and B, I think the service providers are kind of reluctant to step forward. It's like a line in the sand that nobody's prepared to breach, and I think that's important for us to challenge.
And do you think the key thing is that the end user is less familiar with the product, in that, if you use a mobile phone and you make phone calls on it, it's a device you have in your hand every day, you understand it. If somebody's talking to you about your pension fund, people don't have a thorough understanding of their own finances.
That's fair. It's an oxymoron, and I think the fund market deals with such wealth. The irony is that they're often invested in digital companies as well at the end of the fund, but they're not aware of how it can help in their business. So typically, I've spent time with fund managers over the last 12 months, and he'll go from his device, he'll do his kind of Yahoo, whatever he's doing, and then he'll come to you and say, right, we can't change anything because it's very important, we're secure. So I think what I've provided today was this certainty as a service thematic, which should effectively say, no matter what you need, we could provide that on our platform because we're experts at data security, legislation, regulation, and we can drive energy to your base with insight and frequency. Giving him the tools with which to talk to his buyers, I think, is one route. Data is another route, and I think the technology of the future, like blockchain, eventually, when there's a huge take-up kind of curve that works in our favour, becomes an impenetrable potential for exchange of value. And if that means you trade shares more frequently, that can only be a good thing for the market. So,
do you genuinely think we'll be sat here in 5 years' time saying, how come we didn't see the Uber on the horizon or the Netflix on the horizon? Do you think there's one out there?
I do, actually. I don't think I'll be sitting here in 5 years' time for what it's worth, and if I am, something's
you'll be on a beach in Hawaii,
exactly. Well, I won't. But I do think there's going to be somebody of scale who finds themselves geographically frustrated by cash that's locked away in a jurisdiction they can't use, and they'll do something with it. And I've been through that cycle. People who've got available cash in markets they don't understand will have a go. If they've got brands of the scale of Google, Amazon, top banks, even, bizarrely, the top oil companies and gas companies, they don't know what to do with their wealth, because obviously the generation of reinvestment in the infrastructure is declining. So you'll find new players with scale and with deep pockets coming along to go, well, I might just pick up the fund market as an opportunity.
And that's the issue. And the current incumbents have got to be forced in a way out of their comfort zones.
So there's been no burning bush, there's been no critical mass created by an event, and the market lurches towards regulation as a jump-off point. And I think if it's a jump-off point for better products and services and better facilitation of efficiency, then great. It just feels like it's a marketing campaign, and off we go. I do think there will be something of a tipping point in the market when some of the smaller players start to either partner up for better outcomes, or they consolidate in the market, and that will drive the big boys to take a look. And then the thing moves very fast then. It takes 4 or 5 deals, and they'll be having a look and analysing it, and they'll step in. It'd be a shame if the market wasn't driving its destiny and its standards and its regulatory awareness out. I think it'd be a real shame if somebody did do that, actually.
I've just been chatting to some people about climate change, ESG and impact investing. You talked in your panel about these big companies letting their charitable work be known more. Do you think those sort of things will engage with customers in a different way as well, and that might change the face of the industry a little bit?
I think so. It all comes back to, what does the fund manager get asked by a buyer, and what does he have to provide for them to take that service, right? And I just think in a world where his buyers, the wealthy people of the planet, are extremely challenged in our kind of two-tier society, if you want to call it that, I think they're going to have to be a bit more open to the principle of we're here to help, and we're here to help wealth matter. And I think if you take that thematic, you take a certain level of moral high ground, it has a great halo effect for new technologies and new services, because people are willing to try things that they know really add value. And I think that's the point for this forum and for these people at the trade fair. What are you offering to your customers to make them actually think this is interesting and different, and I could actually care about thinking about my business using it? And that's the challenge.
Neil, thank you so much for sharing your insights. Great to talk to you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank
See you
you.
next time.